So we are live. Welcome, everybody, to the first session of a new format that IAM-I is launching today, the IAM-I Startup Pitching Series. You see here quite a number of attendees, or at least I see we have 65 attendees at the moment. We have 5 startup representatives with us that are eager to share with you as the community what they're working on. And I would just very briefly like to introduce myself to those of you who do not know me. My name is Eva Schillinger. I'm the Secretary General of the Association of IAM-I. I would also briefly like to draw your attention to us having a new colleague at the IAM-I office, Marta Costa, who's also present here today. She is the one who is responsible for coordinating our startup activities. So just so that you will have heard the name before. And now it is my great pleasure to hand over to Karim Sidi Ali Sherif, who is our vice chair. And at the same time, we could not have anybody more perfect to make an introduction to this first pitching session than Karim, since Karim also is a startup program manager at the French RTO Karim, please, the stage is yours. Karim? Oh, I think I have to make Karim a presenter, otherwise it's not possible. So Karim, please, you're a presenter now, so share with us.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We cannot see you, but we can hear you.
Okay, so my camera is on normally. Okay,
yes,
so I
now
go
it's
ahead.
on.
Okay, thank you very much, Eva. So good morning, everyone. So my name is Karim Sidi Ali Sherif, first vice chair at IAM-I and startup program manager at CEA. In few words, CEA is a French RTO of about 20,000 people, active across four main fields, defense, energy, digital technology, and health. In my role, actually, I support early stage deep tech projects, helping them evolve from initial concept into startup in advanced materials, energy, and industrial innovation. So it's a real pleasure to welcome you today for this first startup pitch session of IAM-I, the launch of a new monthly format dedicated to innovation and entrepreneurship. So I just would like to share with you 4 objectives for this event. We want to go beyond visibility and create concrete impact. First, by connecting startups with corporate and research organizations across our network, IAM-I. Second, by enabling startups to showcase their solution and increase their chance of joining European consortia and accessing major funding programs such as Horizon Europe, for example. Third, by facilitating access to investors and strategic partners. And finally, by accelerating the transition from innovation to industrial deployment. I also would like to tell you that we are very pleased to have several VCs and CVCs actors joining us for this first edition, and we are delighted to welcome them today. In the coming months, we will establish an IAM-I Investor Club, bringing together selected VCs and CVCs to further strengthen the link between innovation, industry, research, and capital. But today, the focus is on you, the startup. This is your space at IAM-I to pitch, connect, and create opportunities. So I encourage you to make the most of it. Thank you for being here, and I wish you a very successful and interesting session. So the floor is now on you.
Yes, thank you very much, Karim, for this introduction. And we will start with Sparta Medical. Engin, please share your screen with us, and then you can take it from there. You have 10 minutes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. You see the screen, I hope?
We do, but
yes.
not on, yes.
Okay, perfect. So thank you for this opportunity. My name is Engin Brana. I am CEO of Sparta Medical. And what we are trying to solve in Sparta Medical is hospital-acquired infections. Now, in hospitals, what is being done is that the surfaces are sterilized, but the next moment they can get contaminated again, or they try to solve the infection by using antibiotics. And as it is common knowledge now, the bacteria is developing a strong resistance to antibiotics. So to resolve this problem, what we have developed from the material perspective is systems that are anti-contamination. They are supramolecular coatings that can be applied to any kind of surface, and including the living tissue, and they can keep the surface antimicrobial, antifungal for up to 3 days. So to explain like why this is so difficult is that the source of infection in the hospitals is quite varied. They can be implantable devices made of metals, such as a shoulder implant, which needs to be removed if it is infected. It can be a textile made of polymers. Again, it will need a secondary surgery if it is infected. It can be the tissue itself, where something like chronic wounds with the diabetic patients, which can go all the way to amputation, or material with very different sources, such as someone who had a car or sport accident with dislodged material. So antimicrobial solution must be able to resolve all these issues. So the development we did from the National Institute of Health Research in France is such coatings that can be applied to any kind of surface and geometry. After National Health, we were also laureate of the European Innovation Council accelerator program. This led to all the preclinical work to be finished, having more than 11 patents, and development of an in silico platform where we can develop coatings using machine learning and our own laboratories. And through this, what we are currently doing is developing our own products for the hospitals on one side, but also we have a service business called Sparta Shield, which we develop such coatings for specific products. Up to now, we had 20 service contracts with 6 clients. Most of them are corporates, with one license agreement signed in 2 years ago, which will start the commercialization in 2 years. So the nature of the technology is the affinity between the polypeptides and polysaccharides. So we do formulations that can be applied to the surfaces simultaneously, which form these coatings by self-assembly. And because of this, it can be used in very complex surfaces. It has its functionality through the polymers, so we do not add any drugs, antibiotics inside. It's functional by itself. And because the functionality is physical, basically it kills bacteria by exploding them, it is very hard for them to develop any kind of resistance. So we can kill resistant bacteria. And depending on the application, we can incorporate additional functions such as antiviral, antifungal, anti-inflammatory. They are stable at the room temperature, can be sterilized, and we have already applied this to multiple materials that are relevant for medical devices and other sectors. We particularly work in cosmetics and packaging. So it is active against all resistant bacteria. One direct proof is that this is a MRSA, a resistant SRUs. When it's applied directly to a wound, you have a biofilm formation in 1 day. And when we apply our coatings directly on the wounds, not only it removes all the bacteria, but it helps with the healing process. This works the same way if you have a complex situation where you have material also, such as implantable device. So this is a product which is in between a disinfectant and a surface coating. And the advantage is, unlike either, you can apply this during a surgery onto the implants, onto the wounds, and on inside the tissue. So you can have the protection all around. And our first target area is medical devices for having protection of the medical devices, particularly implantable and skin contacting devices, and wound care. But our activity is wider than that. We are working on complex surgery such as facial reconstruction with a strong support from multiple hospitals. We also apply these in the dental and head and neck fields where the infection risks are quite high. And we have a US representation with a team of about 20 people, mainly coming from the INSERM and the stable team, where we have our own independent laboratories and also services which can handle the service business and also regulatory and quality aspects. So our main aim is to have a solution that can really contribute to the antimicrobial resistance, which is versatile and also sustainable. And to achieve this, we are deploying the technology in 3 scales. The first one is with wearable devices as a anti-irritation dermocosmetic product, which will be available by the end of the year. The second scale is through licenses with the already existing products with our technology. The first one is at industrialization stage, and it will be available in 2027. And the third one will be actually using these as antibiotic alternatives in the long run without any development of resistance. And the way we work with corporates is that we do first feasibility work to do proof of concept with products designed and with the specifications. Then we do all the necessary preclinical work or regulatory work depending on the kind of application. And if the technology is working and the client is happy, a license agreement, and we continue supporting the client through an accompaniment during the industrialization stage. So we have one nearly finished. A second one with a US corporate, we already done the preclinical work with the knee implants. We are working on the breast implant division of this company. So that the idea here is that having a kind of umbrella license in the end. And our dermocosmetic product around the wearable medical devices such as insulin pumps, catheters, and glucose sensors is to avoid any kind of side effects for patients who needs to wear this kind of implants for a long time. It is based on same kind of technology, but instead of having an antimicrobial activity, it has an anti-irritation and barrier formation activity. Currently, the product is ready. We are going through the regulatory processes. We aim to make it available in the markets, in the European markets, end of the year or beginning of next year. And on top of that, we have some advanced development projects with one cosmetic corporate about the coatings for makeup cosmetics, one ophthalmology corporate about the packaging part, and also incorporating new kind of polymers with these kind of coatings. We have an IP portfolio of 11 patents. We have more than 70 formulations, and we are actively improving our machine learning system so that currently we have some very strong candidates for anti-biofilm peptides. And with these, at the moment, we are doing a press series A of 3 million euros. We are nearly finished. We have a lead. We have several followers. This will bring the dermocosmetic product in the market, start of the first license revenues. And our aim is to do a Series A, Series B in 2028 for getting the pharmacological and medical device approval for really applying these systems for hospital infections. And we also have already committed 2 million non-dilutive in the form of an IDMO from the French National Bank of Investment and multiple EU projects. And the potential exits for this kind of activity will be the most similar one is Tyrex, which was an antimicrobial envelope for pacemakers, which is obtained by Medtronic for 160 million euros, and it is currently in the clinics. And the moment of acquisition, it was at the FDA clinical trial stage, which will be in 2 years. So thank you for your time, and I will be happy to answer if you have any questions.
Thank you very much, Engin. That was perfectly on time. If you have any questions to Engin, we will have a couple of minutes for questions to all startups at the end. Please post them here in the Q&A function, not in the chat, in the Q&A function, and we will moderate them afterwards. So that brings us to the next startup. Next up is Plug Technologies. Mariam, please. I had the pleasure of listening to you today at a different event, so stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone, I'm Mariam, founder and CEO of Plug Technologies. We have developed a platform for designing advanced materials for energy and industry. The aim is to get the new materials to the market faster to avoid the trial and error experimentation for developing new materials. And the platform that we have, it has the possibility to kind of go for multiple applications, multiple products across industry. We're a startup based in Norway, and our focus is on energy. So we're using chemistry, AI, and process simulations to optimize across materials, systems, and life cycles. So we are taking KPIs from all different layers and currently focusing on gas adsorption as the first vertical. We have had already projects with big players. SLB is the biggest energy technology company in the world, and the European Space Agency have been our customers, and also engaged Japanese EPC, have talked to several players as potential scale-up partners, material manufacturers, and also engineering companies. So we have been active in self-funding domain, several projects granted and several in the pipeline, and we also have a pilot host candidate. So we have the background, me and my co-founder, from the energy industry. I used to work in Equinor, the energy company, for 10 years. Having worked in the operations and responsibility as technology need coordination, I was exposed to the problem side, and also later on in the innovation department, I was responsible for the corporate portal of innovation and coordinated several idea to technology projects, both internally and represented Equinor externally in several projects within new energy solutions. So this exposure also helped me understand also the possibilities in the solution side and what are the gaps. I also have the background of management, both on the job training, project management at Equinor, and also official learning from Harvard Business School and Stanford. My team have diverse technical backgrounds. Hamid is a PhD in thermodynamics of CO2 capture, Tim in chemistry, computation chemistry, and Arthur with AI and machine learning. And we're supported with world-class advisors, both from industry, ADNOC, Argonne Lab, and also universities. And the problem that we are focusing on to start with is the gas handling. That's the first vertical we are going to because of the work that I have done before on technology strategies and roadmaps. I was exposed to the gaps in this domain. And no matter what area of energy production we're working with, there are some gas handling issues, and the efficiency and strategy of gas handling affects all these industries. In the oil and gas business, several use cases. Now, here as an example, we're showing the CO2 capture, which we still need an energy efficient system for capturing CO2. In the biogas domain, when biogas is produced, there are several components generated, not only the biomethane, but also CO2 and other contaminants. So upgrading the biogas, meaning that we purify the methane to a good quality for pipeline. And so this is like a multi-stage process. It's costly and complex, and the need for more compact processes is there, and also with less footprint and less waste. Also, valorizing CO2 and the biogas industry is a problem, and that needs to be worked on. As we also move to renewable adoption, there will be more and more problems with the supply-demand mismatch, and batteries are not enough to do the peak shaving of the medium-sized power plants. So then chemical storage comes to the picture, and the round-trip efficiency is something that needs to be improved. So when there's a need for materials, the common practice is that an experimental scientist goes to the lab, and based on his insights and also tapping into what is the benchmark materials in the market, so they try to optimize the materials by doing experimentation. And so this will take some time, and it's a trial and error experiment around one single material. And also the system engineers, they are also doing their optimization based on the materials at hand. So this is like two different worlds. While what we do is that we take the problem, we have the KPIs not only from the material level, but also system level, techno-economics, and life cycle assessment. So manufacturability of the materials are very important for us. So we tap into databases of materials, curate them for a given use case, calculate properties based on machine learning methods, and also screen or design materials for the need. And we integrate that with surrogate models from the process. And we take the top candidates of the materials to the lab to synthesize and test them. So there are several different domains that we have commonality with other parts of the industry. There are like material manufacturers who are working on manufacturing materials application agnostic, and then there are some companies who are kind of have overlap on the use cases we're working with, and either developing something in the area of adsorption based gas storage and gas separation, or alternative technologies. The closest to us are the AI for material companies. Still several nuances and differences. Some of the companies are working more horizontal and on AI methods, while others are going to the vertical. And we have the aim of co-designing materials and systems to for the energy domain and get these designs to the market. The model that we engage is that we start with what we call a data and decision as service. It's a feasibility study that we do with the need owners. And with this, we want to engage early on, and we want to kind of work on the problems where there is a pull for it, and also build a portfolio of products. And then the way between this and also the IP licensing is to show how these things work in physical prototype. So we work on a handful of prototypes and then get to IP licensing. And the model is to collaborate with scale-up partners and get a share of revenue that is generated for the end users. We are in contact with many of the players in the industry, both on the end user side and also engineering companies and the potential partners. So we have the pipeline ready, and we have also engaged with some companies with specific use cases. On the CO2 capture, we have shown that compared to the established benchmark, which is on solvent-based CO2 capture, where the energy consumption is around 3 to 4 gigajoule per ton CO2. So through adsorption-based system and optimizing, selecting the right material and optimizing the process, we can get to 0.6 gigajoule per ton CO2. This is what we have shown for our client project. And in our engagement on the oxygen storage, we have shown that there's a potential by selecting the right adsorbent materials to have 5 times more capacity in the same container with a given pressure.
Mariam, we have come to the end of your 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, okay. just wanted to say that the IP strategy on two sides. The methodology is going to be trade secret, and the IP will be on the patents on the novel materials and systems. So we are raising and already engaged some angels, and we have already revenue 150 from our clients, and also the pipeline of sub-funding. The aim is to get to TRL 6 with showing the prototype and get to IP licensing model. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll be happy to engage further.
Thank you very much, Mariam. And there were definitely questions for your presentation. However, we'll take them at the end and jump directly further to Rafael, who will be presenting Grapheal to us. Perfect. Works. Your 10 minutes are starting now.
All right. Thank you, Eva. Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to be in this prestigious assembly. We'll talk about biosensing revolution. That is for sure part of a desirable future on Earth. We hear on a daily basis about pollutions. That can be PFAS, that can be heavy metals, that can be pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, many species from the industry that at the end finishes in soils, in air, and of course in water. The problem is that today, detection, which is anyway the first step of action, costs a lot. Considering, for instance, water analytics for PFAS, it's hundreds of euros per sample, and it's weeks to get the results. And it's not enabling us to detect a peak of pollution, for instance, and bring an appropriate filtration. That's where we can propose our PFAS analysis, bringing a result in minutes, taking a cost 10 times cheaper than a regular analysis, and potentially with an in situ analysis being done by potentially everyone. And that changed many things for our customers. The beauty of our approach is that having a full stack technology from the material, and I will come back on this later, up to the analysis based on AI and how we make prediction out of our results, we can detect a very wide family of species, from glucose to pollutants, bacteria, and even gas. Everything starts by a layer of graphene, which is a fantastic material, which is now in maturity after years of R&D. What's specific in our case at Grapheal is that we have an electronic grade graphene with ultra low cost and an eco-friendly, scalable roll-to-roll approach. We start by a layer of copper where we deposit graphene just from methane, natural gas. We have then a monolayer of graphene onto this copper where we deposit a second layer of polymer that will first enable us to detach the graphene and make then the mechanical support. Then we functionalize, and that's pretty difficult. That's also a big part of our know-how. We functionalize this graphene to detect selectively the species we're interested in. And finally, we make the sensor. It's a bit then like a COVID sensor, an autotest. In this case, you don't insert anything in your nose, of course, but it's a bit the same principle. You read from an NFC tag the result directly onto your smartphone, and that's super friendly in terms of user experience. Having this value proposition pretty unique, we've already validated this technology in nice use cases with big players of water treatment like Veolia or Suez, for both wastewater from industry to drinking water. The beauty is making an official procedure with that kind of players. You are very quickly to very important volumes of tests on a recurring basis, which is of course what we are looking for in terms of commercial development. And already today, we are in discussion for a commercial pipe of about 1 million tests per year by 2028, which is really tomorrow. An important thing at Grapheal is that we have always worked to make turnover. That can be for studies, proof of concept, but also samples that we sell already to our customers. And in some cases for field tests, exactly like the use case I'm describing. We're going to have about 300K of turnover this year and 1 million euros by 2027 before scale up. Considering this full stack approach, we have pretty nice gross margin and an objective of 3 million of sensors by 2031. To go to this scale up and invest in business development, in industrialization of our process, we are in a financing round right now on Series A that will perfectly complete our EIC Accelerator Award that we got in May. We are luckily with a grant, pretty important, and a support in this Series A by a European Investment Bank. And that will allow us to go to the last step of TRL and go to mass production. One has to understand that we are about to open a new chapter for Graphil. After years of R&D, we go to mass market, mass production, and pretty nice results and structure. I will end up by presenting, our wonderful team, very complementary. Professor Vincent Bouchiat, who invented the technology, the CEO. Benaz, who's very strong in IoT, AI, cloud. Myself, a serial entrepreneur after years of startup creation and in charge of business development. And of course, our team that will reinforce with commercial sales representatives and industrial technicians. Thank you. I hope I'm in time and I will be very happy to answer your question.
Perfectly in time, Raphael, even with 4 minutes to spare. I do not see any. Let me have a quick look. I do not see any questions in the chat for you right now, so I would suggest we go on. That leaves us with a bit more time for questions to everybody at the end. So thank you very much, Raphael, for this pitch. And I would like to invite Sonia to take the stage for best health. Perfect. We see your presentation, Sonia. But we cannot hear you.
Sorry, you can
Yeah,
see
now,
me
perfect.
now? Yeah,
We can
great.
hear you and your slides or your desktop. Yeah, perfect.
Is in the full screen? You can see?
Yes, now it's in full screen. Perfect. Thank you, Sonia. Your 10 minutes start now.
Okay. So good morning, bonjour, bon dia. I'm Sonia Freire, CEO and founder of Best Health for You. I was born with a bladder malformation, and since I was 7 years old, I use an ostomy pouch to evacuate urine. So this device caused me MARSI, medical disease-related skin injuries, and since day one, I have felt the pain of attaching and removing this device to my skin. And on some days, my skin bleeds and I need to be hospitalized. This is the reason because why I decided to study biomedical engineering and biophysics and also management and founded Best Health for You. But I'm not the only one. 6 in 10 ostomated, hospitalized newborns, geriatric, and long-term care patients will experience MARSI. So it is classified as a never event, a harm that should never happen, yet it does. So it is not covered by payers, driving up healthcare costs for everyone. So this is the reason because we develop BiotoSkin, a medical grade and future-proof platform for the next generation of medical devices. BiotoSkin works like the magnet on the fridge, ensuring secure attachment without irritation or residue. And as a raw material for medical devices, BiotoSkin just needs the ISO 10993 as a certification, is the biocompatibility certification to be in contact with the skin. So it's free to operate patent technology that forms a hydrogen bonds with the skin. There have been no new solution in this market in the last 60 years. And thanks to its greener composition, biodegradable technology, and lack of mercy, it will stand out from the current products. So our commercial strategy is hybrid because it's based on the IP licensing or an acquisition by a strategic partner. We target key players as a medical adhesives manufacturers, medical devices manufacturers, and pharmaceutical companies to whom we license the technology in return for royalty fees. And this business model has been validated by ostomy, wound care, and medical adhesives global companies that have been testing our product. Coloplast, Urgo Medical, and Johnson & Johnson have the pilot ongoing. With the successful testings, we will proceed with the license agreements. And we are talking about the market of 16 billions, scalable from ostomy, wearable medical devices, and also wound care. And we want to achieve 10% of these markets by 2032. With the EIC Accelerator grant, to 2026 is a pivotal year for Best Health for You. Besides our new headquarters, we are clinically validating our claims to achieve product market fit by the end of the year and launch the product in 2027. So our multidisciplinary team has the skills to take Best Health for You to the next stage, alongside the active support of our international advisory board. As a company with a global ambition, international advisors, we believe that international investors will enable us to drive revenue growth by 2027. And for that, we need a total investment of 2.6 million. So we are proud of our work and the relationship we develop with our investors, and our investor List Capital will follow in this round. The revolution doesn't stop here. With the pipeline of future developments, we are working on the future of skin continuous healthcare. And Adhesive AI is our next development to continue the revolution focused on wound care. This product is scalable for different applications, from surgical wounds to burns or chronic wounds. So our mission, vision, and values are based on sustainability and aligned with the Green Deal from EU and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Let's start a new era together. Thank you all for the attention.
Thank you so much, Sonia. More than perfectly in time. So we do have saved some time here as well. I see some questions in the chat. Also for the other startups, this is why, just to keep it fair, I would say we're still saving them until the end, have all of the pitches first. And clearly we're also still optimizing the format. So I never said that, but thank you for also being with us, to all presenters, and being our guinea pigs in this one, so to speak. So that brings us to last but not least, and we're happy that on the side it seems we could solve the technical issues. Loic to present for Atinari. Some of you who may have also joined for the IAM-I General Assembly side event may recognize Loic again, because Loic was also presenting or discussing in the panel discussion in Lund. So please, Loic, I hope that everything's working. Fingers crossed. Stage is yours. Your 10 minutes are running.
I hope that too. Thank you very much, Eva. Please, can you confirm that now you can hear me?
Loud and clear, very nice.
Beautiful.
I can hear the release in your voice.
And you can
So
even
we're
see the
okay.
slide. So this is beautiful. Thank you very much, Eva. Thank you very much for organizing this beautiful event. Good morning, everyone. My name is Loic. I'm the co-founder and chief technology officer at Itinerary Technologies. Itinerary is a Swiss-American company. We have offices, or the main office is based in Lausanne, where I'm calling you from today. We have two other offices, one in Boston and the other one in California. At Itinerary, we've been pushing the boundaries of AI and more specifically of physical AI. And since 2019, we have built and pushed this idea of self-driving labs. So to give you an idea of the vision and the mission at Itinerary, I'll start with this video. Hopefully the music goes with it this time.
We can't hear the music, unfortunately, Loic, but we see it moving.
It's okay.
You may sing, but I'm not sure.
Probably not a good idea. So at Itinerary, we are obsessed, or we have been obsessed for the last 7 years about self-driving labs, because today there is a huge reproducibility crisis, and you can see this in a publication from Nature, where over 70% of the researchers failed to replicate published experiment. And this is very problematic because, of course, then that leads to something called the IAM-I law. And this is something that has been observed initially in drug discovery, but also across different R&D applications. IAM-I's law is the Moore's law spelled backwards, where we see an exponential decline of productivity in lab environment, meaning that it takes more time and more money to bring new technologies from lab to market. And now with AI, we can speed this up drastically, but the problem is that negative results are unpublished, and those are very important to train AI algorithm. So since 2019, at Itinerary, we've been moving R&D from the traditional human-driven approach to an AI-driven approach, where there's a continuous learning aspect. In this new landscape, scientists, they set the objective, and then they'll let the AI propose new parameters, experimental condition to test in lab environment. As soon as the results are there, they are used to improve models. So basically, this is a DMTA cycle, so design, make, test, analyze cycle. And at Itinerary, we provide lots of different AI components. So very early on, we started by building all the AI layers since 2019, building now agent foundation models and different AI techniques to speed up the R&D process. Then our clients can use our technology either with robot or manually to execute their experiments. Then we collect data. We use that, we train our model again, and then we cycle until we really accelerate the discovery process. So how do we provide value to our clients? So we have two mainstream of contracting. The first one is a regular SaaS, so subscription, software as a service, where clients can license our technology to license and have access to all our algorithms and all our different agents to speed up their research. And the other one is we build foundation models based on data set that we have collected and that then we license back to our client. What you see here on the left is a print screen of our SaaS offering. We've been working for several years now with clients. Here there are a few that I can publicly disclose. Takeda Pharmaceutical, we work with 3 different business units, with DSM Firmenich, Snapdragon Chemistry as well. And obviously, we're also very close to academic partners here in Switzerland with ETH, but also in the US with MIT, Stanford, New York University, and the Abu Dhabi site, and University of York as well, where they use our technology. So here I'll just go quickly through 2 different case studies. The first one is with DSM Firmenich, where they were optimizing a reaction that is called a hydroformylation reaction. It was a very large space. They had almost 3 billion potential combination to test, and they wanted to find the best route to produce the material they wanted. So they use our technology, and they had a previous route to do that, but it was too expensive. So they wanted to cut down cost. And we helped to do that very successfully, actually, because we reduced the cost by up to 97% within 1 month of using of the platform. It was based on rhodium metal, which is a very a rare and expensive metal. We reduced the loading by 30x, and we reduced reaction time by 50%. This is peer-reviewed as well, so we've published together with them in ACS Catalysis. Another one briefly is with Takeda. So here we helped them boost yield for a chemical reaction that was very critical to them. It's called DBROC deprotection. And here they had very low yield of 50%. We helped them boost that all the way to 90% in only 2 iterations of using our platform in a search space that was rather complex because it would mix a lot of different ligands, catalysts, those are called categorical parameters, and then continuous parameters in terms of the processes, such as temperature, pressure, time of the reaction. So this is on the SaaS offering, and now on the foundation model. So early this year, we actually launched our new lab in Boston with partners that you see listed here. So we work very closely with Agilent Technologies, Mettler Toledo, ChemSpeed, ABB Robotics, and Bruker, where we have built our first self-driving lab. We built it as an autonomous data factory. So here the goal is to generate the best data for small molecule synthesis. So this lab is focusing on drug discovery. We have 2 different autonomous lines, actually. The first one that you see here, and I have a video just after this, is with ABB Robotics, Agilent, and Mettler Toledo. So there we run full autonomy reactions where every data point is used and captured to build our foundation model. On this system, we can run almost the equivalent of 1 PhD per week in terms of data generated. The other line that is a little smaller is built with ChemSpeed and Bruker. There we have inline NMR. We collect the data, and this is more tailored towards medicinal chemistry. And here is a video of this lab. So what you can see here now is the lab that is fully operated by our SaaS platform, where our AI algorithm are generating the test for the system to run. And then the system will run fully autonomously. So as soon as it receives instruction from our AI engine, then the arms will go fetch the chemicals and will start to weight them. So here you saw just automatic balances for solid dispensing. Then we have chambers for very critical chemicals that are in the argon. Here you see multi-well plate where the robot can run up to 600 experiments in parallel. And we have also different reactors to go towards process scale up. So where we can do a little bit getting closer to the production environment. This is the first of many self-driving labs that we are building. This one is based in Boston. We have a demo lab as well in Basel with our partner ChemSpeed. And now the company is on its growth phase, and now we're building additional labs to further increase the size of our foundation model and move away from chemistry or extend from chemistry and reach different fields. So with this, Eva and IAM-I team, thank you again for making that happen. And I'm more than happy to answer any question that you might have.
Perfectly on time. Thank you very much, everybody. Real pros. So, yes, there have been a couple of questions by now. I will, and we have still 7 minutes before I will then hand to our Vice Chair, Karim, for the closing words. So let's start by a question to Planck, which is the first one that I have here from Davide Simonetti. So Mariam, for which application are you engaged with ESA, and do you have patents, trade secrets protecting your innovation?
So the application with ESA is on oxygen storage. So working for oxygen storage for space application, which means that it will be some differences in how we model the systems. And then yes, the trade secrets, as I said, is on the model on kind of the information that the process model and the work processes that we have, the machine learning models and so on. So we are not sharing that, but then the output of that is what we are also putting a patent on. We have a patent which is now on filed, and it's on storage tank, because what we do is that we do co-design. So we design materials for the systems which are industrially accepted and they're economically viable and good. And then we design the systems for the best materials so that we don't do a trade-off for the materials. So that's what we needed to do to kind of take care of the thermal part for the adsorption-based gas storage.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mariam. Then we have actually two questions here from what I see for Raphael. I will come to the first one, which is from Sabine Lenger. Which chemicals are you targeting at which detection limits, and what are your sensing techniques based on, in parentheses, receptors and transducers? And there is a second question also for Raphael from Felix Hempel. Is there a gate electrode on the device or external? What is the shelf life of the graphene devices before and after functionalization? What is the variability between devices? It's honestly more than one question. So Felix, I suggest you get in contact actually with the representatives of Raphael, who have already also shared their information in the chat. If you do not see it in the chat, feel free always to get back to us. But maybe we go back to the first question, Raphael. Which chemicals are you targeting at which detection limits, and what are your sensing techniques based on receptors and transducers?
Okay, thank you. Very nice and good question. Right now, the focus for us is really on PFAS because that's a hot topic in many fields of industry in Europe, and that's what we get an award from the IC Accelerator. So that depends, of course, on the agents, on the category of PFAS. As you know, there are plenty of 26 just in the European regulations. For the PFAS that we have studied most, which is PFBA, we can go down to 10 of nanogram per liter in terms of limit of detection. So it's very, very, very small. The analogy is 1 second in 60,000 years. That's the limit of detection that we can do. Potentially, we can reach this detection for many species of PFAS, but one has to understand that for us, developing a sensor is not only creating a layer of graphene, which is our, let's say, daily process, but it's about attaching first the receptor and then calibrating the sensor. And that can represent a lot of work. Where we talk about AI is to distinguish between different PFAS having common groups of chemicals. And that's the work in progress. What we can say is at a very mature level for a dedicated customer for which we have developed the sensor, which is actually a matrix of sensor, we can be as performing than a lab analysis at smaller cost and a much faster result, almost in real time. And then for the second question, it's also very important. That's actually what we are working on today for customers who would like to have a lab on truck, if you will, and with a reserve of samples. And here in this case, of course, the lifetime of the sample is critical. by itself, once it's pretty well protected, the sensor can live for months. But it has to be protected by, of course, a layer that will protect from humidity in particular, and eventually some other pollutants. And that's also about making, if you will, the layout around the sensor. It's not necessarily an activity that we develop ourselves. We can work actually with the integrator to make very specific, if you will, packaging. Sorry, of the sensor. I hope I've brought you a satisfying answer.
Thank you very much, Rafael. So what I'm going to do, looking at the time, I'm going to pick one question for Sonia and one for Loic. And for the rest, because I see there is more in the chat, please, either the colleagues have already shared, the representatives have already shared their contact details in the chat, or reach out to our colleague Marta Costa at the IAM-I Secretariat, who's responsible for coordinating everything, and she will be happy to put you in contact. So for Sonia, is the licensing, and this is from Davide Simonetti, is the licensing model an exclusive licensing? What is the TRL of the Bio2 skin now? And are you considering expanding the adhesive technology in other industries other than the medical one? We cannot hear you, you're muted.
Sorry for that. So yes, we want to extend the Bio2Skin technology for other applications in different markets, in another market. But now we are focused in put Bio2Skin for the healthcare in the market, right? So the pilot or the licensing agreements with exclusivity, we are open for that, to talk, to negotiate with potential customers or interested in licensing our technologies. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so thank you very much for that one, Sonia. And Loic, also my apologies for pronunciating wrong. For itinerary, one question, and I'm picking one from somebody who hasn't asked before. From Mats Brodeen, how are the machines funded in the self-driving labs? Which entity has the capital assets on their balance sheet? And are you looking into tokenization of access to data?
Yeah, so the lab is fully funded by Itinerary. All data that is generated then is IP of the company, so we retain all rights on the data there. And then regarding tokenization of the data, this is not something that we're currently looking into. We are licensing the data back through a foundation model.
Okay, thank you so much. I also see that our participant numbers are dropping now. We were more than 100 at peak time, so that is, I think, very nice for our first pitching session. As you can see, we have the next date lined up already, 25th of June, same time of the day. We will be, of course, issuing also a call for startups to submit their application to pitch. In any case, for any kinds of questions you may have around the IAM-I startup activities, please contact Marta Costa at IAM-I EU. And with that, Karim, maybe a word of closure for the session.
Very fast. Actually, we saw today how large are the application. We've got some startup on medical, energy transition, environment, water quality, pharmaceutical development. But for all this innovation in advanced material, you see, you need that to be close to the application. You need to build devices, and you need to have advanced materials innovation in there, whether it's on the material itself, on the process. So we also saw some revolution ongoing in terms of methodology, actually, to develop new materials, to be faster. Very interesting session to me. Of course, there are questions still on our mind. We cannot take them all. It's a 1 hour pitch session, but you can now contact each other to get more information. So a big thank you to Rafael, Miriam, Nihal, Sonia, and Loic for your pitches. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a nice
very
weekend.
much.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very
Keep in
much.
touch.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.